Hey everyone! Today I'm going to be doing this really pretty monochromatic makeup look. It is perfect for fall time. It's just this really nice, rich look. Please hit that like button and stay tuned for the rest of the video. I have already prepped my skin with the Lime Life Cool Balm Moisturizer. This is really good for people who have acne prone skin. It is super lightweight. It has cucumber and aloe in it, so it's really soothing. It's not going to clog your pores at all. It's all natural made with organic ingredients, and I just really love it on my skin for the morning. So I've already done that, and then of course you do want to prep your face with a primer. Now with the Lime Life foundation, it is super important that you are not using a silicone based primer. The silicone ones have that slip, kind of a slime thing. This is just a vitamin based primer spray. It's super lightweight. I don't like the silicone ones. They do clog your pores, can cause additional breakouts. It kind of irritates my skin, so I really love the Lime Life primer spray. But you also do not want to be using a silicone based primer with the Lime Life foundation. The Lime Life foundation is 50% pigment. It is the #1 selling pro foundation in the world. It goes a very long way, so it's kind of a learning curve. When I first started using it, I definitely used way too much and I ended up getting a lot of creasing and stuff. So it is a little learning curve on how much to use. I will kind of show you here on how much I use. But to start off, I have the concealer #1 for canceling out my red tones. It kind of has this green look to it. And the concealer #2 I like to use for my under eyes. It has this salmon pinkiness you can see here. And that helps cancel out the purpleness a bit. So the concealer is also very pigmented, so I just do a very light swirl with my brush #5 here in it, very light swirl, and it is also waterproof. So it's really nice for the hotter summer months, but it's just reinsurance, and it's really good for a base for when you're doing eyeshadow looks. So I just lightly swish this on to help cancel out those dark circles, kind of bring it down along my side of my nose here and just blend it out. So you can see I have quite a bit of pinkness kind of in my nose area and my jaw area from breakouts. So the green concealer helps cancel out redness. And I just like to kind of go in and cancel this out before I go in with my foundation, because then you're going to use even less foundation, because I'm not needing to correct these things now. You're not. Sometimes people get so caught up on covering things up, and that's not necessarily what needs to be done. I just need to cancel out redness. So now I'm going to use even less foundation than I needed before, or I felt like I would need before. So you can see how that makes a really big difference. I almost don't even need foundation, but I'm a full coverage girl, and I like to kind of just even everything out. So the Lime Life foundation, this is the bigger brush. This is #17, and I just go in and do a really light swirl. That's it. And start in the areas where you feel that you need fuller coverage. My forehead, I really don't need much, so I just use whatever's left on my brush for that. And I like to swirl it on first. And then I just go in after and kind of stipple it. So then you're not getting any brush strokes on your foundation. And just kind of pushing it into the skin. The Lime Life foundation is non-chondrogenic, so it's not going to clog your pores and create additional breakouts. That is super important if you struggle with acne. If anyone goes to a dermatologist, they know that that is a requirement. Next, I have been using a lot in my videos the translucent setting powder. Lime Life just came out with the high definition press powders, and they are amazing. They're fantastic for people who have enlarged pores, or just really like that airbrushed finish look. I can always help color match. I can always help with the foundation. They kind of go hand in hand. So if I color match you for foundation, I know which pressed powder you'd use. So I am the number 4, I believe. Maybe not the number 4. I can't remember. Anyway, the high def pressed powder, and I've been really liking the Blenderful sponge for applying this. It's totally personal preference depending on the type of coverage you want. So if you want just a really soft coverage to just lock everything in place, you're going to use a fluffier brush for applying it. If you're wanting something more full coverage, you're going to want to use something a little bit more stiff or dense, or a sponge. You can use this wet or dry. If you use it wet, I cannot stress this enough, to make sure you really dry it out in a rag after though. I personally am liking it dry. So this stuff, I am obsessed with how it makes my skin look and feel. It has this velvety finish, so my skin feels like satin after I've done it. And I'm just pouncing this on over top, and you'll kind of see here, I'm just going to do half my face. So this is going to lock everything in place, and just look at the finish that gives. I love the foundation, but it just gives this really soft velvety look. The airbrush skin without the filter, really. Alrighty, so now that I have that on, got it applied, it's just a super flawless foundation. But of course, it doesn't totally, like, I'm kind of washed out looking towards my chest compared to my chest. So I want to bring some warmth back into my face. But first, I'm going to do my eyebrows. The Lime Life eyebrow pencil is super fine tip. These just came out. They are self-sharpening. They're water resistant. And then they have the spoolie end. They're super cheap. I've done a price check compared to some of the other brow pencils. They're very affordable actually, so I'm really happy with this. And I love the fine tip because it's really nice to get very precise line, but also to get like brush hair strokes. And the formula of it is just perfect. It's not too soft, so it doesn't go on. If it's too soft, you get too much pigment, and you don't want obvious that you've drawn in your eyebrows. So you want it to be kind of just that right formulation between soft and stiff, because of course you don't want it too hard either. So my eyebrows are really lacking in some areas, so I like to come in and just fill in this bottom part. And then come along where my arch is and bring this down. These aren't going to smudge at all. They're not going to run at all. So if you go to the gym and you like to work out, then I like to just go back with my spoolie and brush that in. Now I come in on the top. Now I'm totally missing hair right in here, so I have to totally fill that area in. It just has not come back thanks to the years of over tweezing. So just soft little strokes. You don't want to go on really hard and draw just a straight line. Just soft little brush strokes. If you get a little messy or carried away, you can always go back and clean it up with the concealer. Not the end of the world, but just kind of little flicks, and then I come in on this inner part and just flick it up. Perfect little brow hairs. And then back with my spoolie to just kind of comb that in. Look at the difference that makes. I'm gonna quickly go do my other eyebrow. All right, so last but not least with the eyebrows, I do like to use the Lime Life Brow Gel. You can, just depending on your eyebrows, if you're missing spots completely like I am, you might want a pencil. If you have full eyebrows but they're just super light, you might just want to go with the gel. They come in 3 different colors, also a clear, and they are also waterproof. They have pine tree fibers in them, so they do It's kind of the same idea as fiber lengthening mascara. It creates little hairs. I like to use this stuff because my eyebrows are naturally curly. So I get some really big crazies that like to poke out all over the place and just some unruly eyebrows. So I like this stuff because it just kind of keeps my eyebrows where they need to be. I have been loving using the new HD press powder as an eyeshadow. Sometimes you gotta think outside the box. So this is the press powder number 8, and I have been using it as an eyeshadow and my bronzer. So I've just used a fluffy Morphe M441 brush and just softly dabble it in, and I'm just going to pack this on my lid a bit. And then once I get it packed on my lid, I'm just gonna softly buff this up and out. Now I have a fairly hooded lid, and the way you can tell if you have a hooded eyelid is when you look straight forward, you can barely see my lid when my eyes are open and I'm looking straight forward. So that's a good way to tell if you have a hooded lid. So if you have a hooded lid, don't be afraid to bring your pigment up higher onto your brow bone here, just so then you can still see the pigment when your eye is open, you're looking straight forward. Because if I just pack it on my lid, you won't see anything. I also like to bring it onto my lower lash line a bit. So just look up and you can just feel where eyelashes are and just softly buff that in. Just brings a little warmth to that lower lash line as well. The HD press powder and this fluffy number 1 brush, I really like it because it kind of goes to this nice little point, so it's easy to get in here and just buff it in. Again, super pigmented, so very soft little dab, very soft. You can build this up very slowly and start up in the hairline. You want your face to kind of go darker into lighter in the center. So we're gonna warm up this outer perimeter, and then it's gonna kind of bring the warmth up to my face, and I'm gonna match my chest. So with that little bit I have on my brush, I'm gonna start up in the hairline. Don't be afraid to start in your hairline because you don't want like a white line in around here. Just kind of work it into that hairline and just dab it. And once I get that pigment placed, then I kind of buff it in a bit, but I don't want to do too much buffing. Just add a little more. And this is just really nice and buildable, but it's just a really pretty fall look. Gives the illusion like I was somewhere sunny this summer, even though in Alberta there was really no sun to be found. It was kind of the most depressing summer ever. And then I do like to bring some warmth down onto my neck here. The sun never hits here, so you can see how pale I am in my neck area. So I just bring this on the jawline a bit and just drag it down onto my neck. And don't forget in behind your ear a little bit, just a really light buff. And you can see how that just connects it all because the neck is so pale in there. So look at the difference between sides. It just gives a really nice warm glow, really nice depth. It matches my chest beautifully, just makes the biggest difference. it's looking fantastic. I just want to warm up the cheeks a little bit. So I'm really loving this blush number 9, Boom. It's kind of got this really nice kind of, it's got a little bit of a shine to it. Super pretty for fall. So just dab a little bit on and give the excess a tap. And I'm just tapping this on the cheeks. Still with the same brush. I think that's the kind of the main thing for fall is kind of going to these richer warm tones rather than something really pinky that's a little bit more summery. This just gives a really nice warm hue to it, the warmth to the skin. Of course, eyelashes. I am loving my Lime Life Fibre One Step Lengthening Mascara. This stuff has cottonseed oil in it, so it helps nourish and hydrate your eyelashes. So I can honestly say I have problems with dry mascaras drying my eyelashes out and then breaking off. I really struggle with that. So this stuff has made the biggest difference in my eyelash overall health. And I think my actual eyelashes have never been longer. I've used this stuff for a year now, and I'm definitely sticking with it. So this stuff is buildable, even though it's one step fiber lengthening. You can just totally do one coat. As you can see, one coat is plenty for lots of people. I do like to do a second coat. So I will go back and do one more coat after, and I will be right back. All right, so I've got my mascara on, and last but not least, of course, the lips. So to stick with this kind of monochromatic look I'm going with the Enduring Lip Color in Salted Caramel. The Enduring lip colors go on like a mousse, and they set in place, and they will last 6 to 8 hours with no touch-ups, which is huge when we are busy on the go every day. We don't have time to be touching up our makeup constantly. The really nice thing about this stuff is it doesn't go on like crunchy and dry your lips out. I have quite dry lips. You do want to make sure that if you have really dry lips going on to maybe exfoliate first so that, you know, the texture, because if this stuff sets, it's not like a gloss. If you have dry, crunchy, crusty lips, it's going to show. So I'm liking this stuff a lot. It's definitely a big seller. My customers love it. They did the perfect job on this tip too, because you can use this end, this flat end, for applying, and then you can turn it and use that pointy little tip for doing any like fine detailing if you almost want to go in and kind of slightly overdraw your lips, I guess you could say, to make them look bigger. And then just let that dry and kind of set in place. It does, like I said, it doesn't go super dry and crunchy, but yeah. Loving this kind of fall makeup look. Let me know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see everybody later. Thanks, guys.